In this video, I want to walk you through my step-by-step guide on financial planning for expats in Germany. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm Ahsan, and on this channel, we discuss how to build wealth in Germany. So the first and the most important step is to set your financial goals. You can certainly set aspirational goals like buying your dream house with cash in the next 5 years. But you also need to be realistic. So if you are just starting your professional career in Germany, setting a financial goal to buy a house in the next 5 years is not quite realistic. Meaning that you have to take your current situation into the goal setting process. As I said in the beginning, your financial plan is a living blueprint. So you adjust it as your life evolves. So ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in the next 5 years? Do you want to own a car? Do you want to be married with kids or something else? Because every person has their own outlook on life and every situation is different. Based on talking to hundreds of experts in Germany, some financial goals could be, in 5 years, I want to be earning 25% more than what I am earning right now. I want to have 25,000 euros saved for a down payment on an apartment within 4 years. Or I want to send 12,000 euros back home every year to support my family or build property there. When your financial goals are clear, the steps don't feel so abstract anymore. But you should always remember that your financial goals should reflect your values, not just numbers. Step 2. Know where your money goes. Let's talk about cash flow. If you don't know what's coming in and what goes out each month, everything else becomes guesswork. An accurate overview is key to creating a financial plan, especially as an expat in Germany. Seeing where your money goes can help you develop immediate, mid-term, and long-term plans. Developing a budget, for example, is a type of immediate plan. A 3-tier ESP budget can be a very good starting point. Here you assign 60% to your essentials like rent, utilities, transport, insurance, and other recurring payments. 20% to personal expenses like dining out, vacations, and entertainment. And the last 20% is allotted towards your savings and investing. I recommend that you start simple. A pen and a paper is enough to get you started. You can always improve your budget, modify it, and leverage specialized tools to optimize it. But remember not to get overwhelmed because budgeting fatigue is a real thing. I have a detailed video on budgeting where I go through an actual bank statement and arrange the spending to a 3-tier system. I'll put it below the like button so that you can watch it after this video. Step 3. Build your emergency fund. Life has its twists and turns. Unplanned things happen quite regularly. You can lose your stable job in Germany. You can have an accident while riding your bicycle. You can even have a burnout. You cannot plan for those things, but you can have a section for emergencies in your financial plan. You can start with 500 euros and work your way up. Aim for 1 month of essential expenses and then go for 3 months expenses. It doesn't matter what financial situation you are in. As a single employee, plan for something between 2 to 3,000 euros. And if you're married with kids, your emergency fund should be at least 5,000 euros, if not more. Remember to have this money as cash in a current or a savings account without a lock-in phase so that you can quickly access these funds when you need them. Steps 1 to 3 are our foundation. The sturdier they are, the more stable our financial plan becomes. Before going to the next step, please hit the like button if you're getting value from this video and turn on the notifications to get more videos on building wealth in Germany. Step 4. Goal-based spending. With your goal set, your budget in place, and your safety net ready, it's time to match your day-to-day spending to the future you want. Most expats I talk to share some version of these 3 long-term dreams. Owning your own home, quitting the daily 8 to 5 grind, and retiring early. Let's take the example of buying your own home. You would need about 10% as the closing cost and about 20% as a down payment. So for an apartment worth 200,000 euros, you would need about 50,000 euros just to buy the apartment. Not to mention any other renovations or maintenance costs. Here you might be saying you don't actually need this much, and there is something called 0% financing where you get 2 loans. One to cover the 100% of the mortgage without putting in any down payment and another loan to cover the closing costs. Yes, that is true, but not everyone is eligible to get those loans. These depend on your situation, income, and expenses. That's why we need to modify our spending based on our goals. So let's say you earn 3,900 euros after taxes. Your monthly expenses are about 3,000 euros, leaving 900 euros. This means that that if your income and expenses remain about the same, you would be able to have those 60,000 euros in about 5.5 years. Obviously, your income would increase during that time, so you could essentially reach the 60,000 euros goal sooner. But we all know that lifestyle inflation is also real. So each time we get a raise, we want to buy a better car, move to a bigger apartment, and so on and so forth. Before we dive further, I want to personally invite you to my online premium workshop, the Expat Wealth Blueprint. It's a deep dive session where I share my blueprint on building wealth as an expat in Germany. Check out this QR code or the first link to learn more. Let's go back to our financial planning. Assuming you bought the house in 3 years using your 60,000 euros saving at an interest rate of 3.5 euros fixed for the next 15 years, you would be paying 1,000 euros per month as your mortgage. In an ideal world, let's say everything fits perfectly and your rent is entirely replaced by your mortgage payment and running costs. At the end of the 15-year period, you would still be having about 40,000 euros left on your mortgage. But you don't have just one financial goal. Maybe in addition to owning your own home, you also want to retire early, let's say in 15 years. This means that you would need to be investing 6,300 euros each month at a growth rate of 7% per year. This leads us back to step number 1, which is setting up your financial goals. Buying a house in 3 years and retiring in 15 years do not fit together based on realistic salary growth projections. Let me explain this. Let's say your net salary increases 5% each year for the next 15 years. Even if you are able to save 4,000 euros each month and invest that amount at a return of 7% per year, you would still be short about €500,000 to retire at your current lifestyle. But as I said in the beginning, your financial plan is a living blueprint. So you can change your long-term financial goals based on the circumstances at that specific time. For example, you set a goal of buying a house in 3 years and increase your net salary each year for the next 15 years. By the end of year 15, you could have €1,000,000 invested and a fully paid off apartment. At that moment, you could set a goal of retiring in 5 years, or you could quit your job and start a business. You should also be regularly looking at where your money is going to keep your emergency fund up to date based on your expenses. Step 5. Estate planning. Estate planning might not be an exciting topic, but if you're an expat living in Germany, it's something you shouldn't ignore, especially if you have dependents or assets in more than one country. German inheritance law can be strict and may not reflect your personal wishes unless you make them legally clear. Without a proper will, your estate might be distributed according to local law, which generally follows familial hierarchies. As an expat, you can usually choose whether German or your home country's inheritance law should be applied to your state, but only if you make this explicitly clear in your will. Beyond writing a will, estate planning for expats in Germany often includes setting up a power of attorney, living wills, and naming beneficiaries on investments or life insurance accounts. These documents are critical in case you are ever incapacitated or unable to make financial or medical decisions. Step 4.1. Investing for your goals. I know this step should come before step 5. I wanted it to be separate yet connected to the 4th step in a way. So while you are spending and saving based on your goals, you should also be investing the unallocated funds. You could buy gold, invest in additional real estate, or invest in the stock market, which in my opinion is the easiest way of starting investing as a beginner. You can check out my workshop, the Expat Wealth Blueprint, to get a jump start using this QR code or the first link in the description, or you can watch this video where I share how to get started with investing as an expat in Germany.